Willkommen in Belgien. Der süßen Wohngegend ist hier das Amiga Treffen. Der süßen Location. Sieht so ein bisschen aus wie ein Flechtdorf, nur so ein bisschen, nur kleiner. Ja, Sascha ist auch da. Oh, da hat er angeparkt. Amiga Belgium Club. Kommt mal rein, ne? Alles auch da. Hui, was hat jemand für Amiga 500 geholt? Das ist schöne Verpackung, ne? Ja, die ist ganz nett. Ja, ja. Verschrieben, ja. So, Verkaufsecke hier. Also die externe.
Ik heb daar 14 euro zo betaald en ik heb een afspraak met François Lyonnais, die programmeur
today at this event. I'm on a bit of a triple mission, I guess, in that first of all I absolutely love meeting all of you guys who supported Commodore and Amiga products over the years, because frankly without you I wouldn't have even had a career. So I love it that I can meet you people face to face and shake hands with you and so on. Secondly, of course, I'm here promoting my book and hoping to sell, well, one to every one of you really, would be really good. And thirdly, I'm here evangelizing about Friend OS, which is the organization I'm with now. Very, very exciting and actually very much like in the days of the Amiga. I believe Friend will change history, and I'll be talking about that in a while. But I think the way I'd like to start is that there has been a lot of conjecture about my role in Commodore. So I think what I'll do is I'll fill you in exactly from job to job what I did with Commodore. I was actually with Commodore for 12.5 years, I think one of the longest serving employees. I actually joined Commodore in June of '83 in Commodore UK, and that was a very fluky opportunity to work for Commodore. I'd been living in Australia for a few years and decided to leave Australia to come back to the UK in order for me to hopefully get eventually an international role. And after I left Australia, I spent 7 weeks traveling the world to see what was likely to be the next big thing. And that's when I discovered that I thought home computing was going to be, you know, a huge industry. When I got back to the UK, in those days, of course, there was no internet, and you relied on the newspapers. And it used to be Thursday morning newspapers and Sunday papers is when all the good positions that were available were advertised. I was looking to get into the computer market in any way I could, although I knew absolutely nothing about computing. So I found this particular advertisement placed by an agency, a London agency, and if I remember rightly, it was a job selling some computer services, and it took me, I think, 30 minutes on the phone to convince this guy to at least give me an interview. Now, as I arrived at this place in London, I remember very distinctly there was a lady leaving, and I held the door open for her. I can remember it like it was yesterday. And I went in, and the guy said, "Come on, Mr. Pleasant, sit down." And he gave me an interview for the job that I'd gone for. And at the end of it, he said, "Well," he said, "in my opinion, this job that you've come for, you could do it standing on your head, but I'm not going to put you forward for it."
Jo, CD32. Alt-IBM-Tastatur. Lotus Notes 2. Ach, da oben ist der Videobeamer.
Ik kan blijkbaar niet geïnfecteerd worden. Intelligent.
Jetzt geht's auch nach Hause, ne? Ah ja, ist der Autobahn wieder beleuchtet in Belgien. Genau, wie ist eine Autobahn mit Licht. Ah ja. Ja, auf geht's nach Hause. Oh, dafür spielen sie aber gute Elektromusik. In dem Sinne, liebe Retro-Freunde, gute Nacht, gute Nächtle und bis zum nächsten Retro-Treffen.